Hello and welcome to People's Voice on VOP Television, where the stories that matters most to Nigerians take the center stage. My name is Adefunke Jaisimi, and today we are kicking off a brand new week with a fresh perspective on the news that is shaping the world. As we dive into the week ahead, we are met with a flurry of stories that capture the essence of Nigerian politics, security, and culture, and most importantly, conversations that matters most to the people as it relates to the ordinary citizens, you and I. In the realm of politics, a dramatic showdown is unfolding between suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the Senate leadership. Despite her suspension, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan has announced plans to resume her legislative duties on June 8, 2025, sparking a constitutional crisis. The suspension stems from a long-standing dispute between Akpoti-Uduaghan and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio over allegations of misconduct and disobedience to Senate rules. Akpoti-Uduaghan has maintained that her suspension is politically motivated and lacks merit, and as the situation continues to unfold, one thing is certain, that the fate of Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan will have far-reaching implications for the nation's legislative arm and, of course, the balance of power between senators and within the Senate, within the chambers. Meanwhile, in Rivers State, the police command has declared two senior officials of our East local government area wanted for alleged involvement in attempted murder. The incident dates back to a violent clash between rivalry factions of the local government, resulting in several injuries and one fatality. The police have launched a manhunt for the suspects, who are believed to be hiding in nearby communities. This development is worrisome and has raised questions about the safety and security of citizens in Rivers State, particularly in the face of tension between local government officials and traditional rulers. As the investigation continues, the people of Rivers State are holding their breath, hoping for justice and an end to the culture of impunity within their society. Also in the news today, as the 2027 elections draw near, politicians are gearing up for what promises to be a fiercely contested battle. In Ogun State, speculations arrive about whether Ogun West will produce the next governor. Because according to history, Ogun State has had governors from different zones, with the current governor hailing from Ikenne zone, that's Remo part of Ogun State. However, the western part of Ogun State has been vocal about its desire for the top seat, citing the need for equitable presentation and development. With several aspirants already throwing their hats into the ring, the battle for the governorship seat is shaping up. Feels like 2027 is far, but it's not as far as you think, because everything that has to do with political calculations ahead of primaries and ahead of the general elections are already ongoing. And the question is, will Ogun West break the jinx and produce a governor? Or will other zones assert their dominance as always? And we are waiting for the answers. We hope to see how things turn out in Ogun State. But let's move away from that story and go to the southeast, where prominent Igbo leaders, including Chief Nnaji Wodo and Senator Oke-Ezie, have renewed calls for the creation of Adada State. The demand for Adada State is not new, with proponents arguing that the region has been marginalized and underrepresented in the country's political landscape. The creation of Adada State would, in their view, ensure better representation, distribution of resources, and, of course, more targeted development initiatives, which they say is most important. However, the process of creating new state is complex. It requires a lot of constitutional amendments and broad political support, and support from the locals too. But as the debate gains momentum, it's clear that the creation of Adada State might just be taking major talking points in the lead-up to the 2027 general elections. But here's the new kid on the block, like they say. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, is making significant inroads in northern Nigeria, according to reports. It's been said that it is taking over People's Democratic Party, PDP, structure in several states in the north, and this development is the result of a strategic effort by the ADC to expand its footprint and build a stronger presence in the region. With several PDP stalwarts defecting to the ADC, the party is confident of making a strong showing in the 2027 elections, and the ADC also trying to consolidate its gains The PDP, on their part, will need to regroup and reassess its strategy if it hopes to remain relevant in the region and even in the Nigerian political scene generally. But yes, away from politics, in a show of support to the military, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has given the green light for the armed forces to crush terrorists, bandits, and separatists. This decisive move underscores the government's commitment to national security and the safety of our citizens. The military has been engaged in a long-standing battle against these groups with mixed results, but the president is backing them this time, and the military is likely to intensify its efforts, using all available resources to restore peace and stability to troubled communities across different regions in Nigeria. As the military ramps up its efforts, Nigerians are hopeful that the tide will turn against these nefarious groups, bringing peace and stability to our communities. There's so much to talk about today. It's been one conversation or the other around security issues, and the response of the government is quite impressive. But for Nigerians, it's not just about response. We want actions. We want Nigerians to be able to sleep and wake up and know that they have a safe space where they can call home. But in all of this, as we reflect on the passing of the Olubadan of Ibadan land, a reverend traditional ruler who left an indelible mark on his community, we take a moment to appreciate the rich cultural heritage that defines us as Nigeria. The Olubadan passed away at the age of 90 and was a symbol of unity and stability in Ibadan land. During his reign, he worked tirelessly to promote peace and development, often serving as a mediator. We hope that the departed soul find eternal rest, and of course, it's a significant loss to the community, so we continue to commiserate with the people of Ibadan and the immediate family. But that's all we have for the news right now. Welcome to a brand new week filled with news, analysis, opportunities for your voices to be heard. So do well to call in or text us. Share your thoughts with us via WhatsApp on 090-447-32605. 090-447-32605 is the number to reach us via WhatsApp, and you can follow us on all social media platforms at VOP TV Live. You can use the hashtag People's Voice on VOP TV, and on YouTube we have Voice of the People TV. Kindly hit the subscribe button, and together we can make our voices heard. Yeah, it's time to go on a quick break now. Stay tuned, and when we return, we will be discussing Peter Obi's presidential ambition and the criticism that it is selfish and unrealistic. We'll be back with more after this break. Please stay tuned. Well, Nigerian political landscape is abuzz with activities as the 2027 general elections draws near. The stakes are high, and politicians are maneuvering to outmaneuver each other. I mean, it's a lot of drama, but interesting times, trust me. From major cities like Lagos State to Abuja to other cities like Port Harcourt, across different regions from south to west to east and north. The nation is watching as alliances are forged and broken, and defections are becoming increasingly common. Recently, the opposition made a bold move by announcing a new coalition under the African Democratic Congress ADC banner. The gathering held at the Yaradua Center in Abuja brought together influential figures like former Senate President David Mark, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Nasir El-Rufai, and Rauf Aregbesola, that's David Mark, unveiling of the ADC as a potential challenger to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's All Progressives Congress, and these actually sent shockwaves through the political establishment with a lot of reactions, attacks, and counter-attacks. But the ADC, previously a minor player in Nigerian politics, is actually now being touted as a broad-based vehicle for the opposition, with David Mark at the helm, Aregbesola as secretary, and Bolaji Abdullahi as spokesperson. The interim leadership is promising a movement that will listen to Nigerians and deliver results. Yes, that's their promise, but Nigerians have a lot of questions begging for answers. But we are here as this development comes against the backdrop of a wave of defection that has reshaped political allegiances and regional dynamics. We saw the Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborire, who departed from People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, taking his cabinet, and the former governor also running mate to Atiku Abubakar Ifeanyi Okowa with him. And similar moves have been followed by other governors across different states in Nigeria. But on their part, the new coalition has elicited mixed reactions, with some expressing excitement and others harboring serious doubt. Can this coalition endure? Can it rival the formidable All Progressives Congress machine? The ruling party has dominated Nigerian politics since the year 2015, and both the PDP and the Labour Party are still reeling from the internal conflicts. I mean, it's never been the same with the opposition, whether PDP or Labour Party, since the 2023 elections. But the All Progressive Congress has also been quick to dismiss the coalition, labeling it as public stunts based on outdated narratives. Some of the presidential aides have also thrown their weight in describing the coalition partners as unsuccessful politicians who couldn't build anything meaningful. One of the most pressing issues is who will secure the coalition presidential ticket, because there are speculations that Atiku Abubakar may run with Peter Obi as running mate under one-term agreement. However, the Obi camp seems hesitant, and sources indicate that Obi may not be keen on accepting the VP role again. Another factor to be considered is zoning. With the presidency currently held by the South, the North's next move is crucial. Some worry that if a Northern candidate emerges again, it could lead to voter apathy or backlash in the South. But the All Progressives Congress is not resting on its laurels. The party is engaging, they are currently engaging in counter-offensive conversation across different platforms, win key figures, and making strategic concessions to shore up internal support. But the recent resignation of its national chairman, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, definitely is something that has left a lot of people worried on how to go for the All Progressives Congress, even though it's been reported it's based on health reasons. But many see it as a move to pave way for Rabiu Musa Kwankwanso's potential return to the All Progressives Congress. On the part of Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, they also face significant pressure to deliver a free and fair, credible election. The 2023 election was marred by logistic issues, delays, and widespread distrust, and analysts have warned that INEC must ensure that every vote counts to avoid delegitimizing the 2027 contest. So, as the election approaches, politicking started gaining momentum. Nigerians are grappling with economic hardship, inflation, and soaring food prices, which the opposition might be able to frame as the consequences of the All Progressives Congress policy, and this might actually sway billions. But on the part of the All Progressives Congress, the narrative of painful but necessary reforms may also resonate with voters, citizens that feel that this is the way to go. But this road to 2027 promises to be a complex and unpredictable journey. The final shape of Nigeria's opposition realignment remains uncertain, and Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State, recently declared his intention to contest for the presidency in 2027, emphasizing his commitment to good governance and compassion. In a recent interview on Sunday, yesterday, Obi stated that he does not need more than 4 years to put Nigeria on the right path, promising to show the direction of good governance. He also clarified that he is not interested in being a running mate to anyone, dismissing speculations about potentially being Atiku Abubakar's vice president. A lot of conversations in there, a lot of speculations, a lot of counter-speculation, but politicians and maneuvering is not new in Nigeria. But what exactly is the situation? What should Nigerians be looking forward to? It's never a one-man show on People's Voice. I'm now being joined live from our Benin studio by Chief Lawrence Okoro, also known as Salo. He is a person with multiple interests and roles, and as a public affairs and political analyst, he offers analysis on political issues. And it's quite important to have him on the show today because his opinions on politicians like Peter Obi and, of course, I don't know if I would say is former or is still loyal to Igodalo. I mean, his opinion on their political style provide insight into his perspective on Nigerian politics. Good afternoon, Salo, or how do I address you? How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm very, very fine. Good afternoon, Ade. How are you doing over there?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you very much for making it to the studio. So let's get started. Chief
All right.
Okoro, you have been a vocal critic of Peter Obi's presidential ambition, despite supporting him in the past. A lot of your followers, or maybe just people of interest, have been wondering what exactly changed your mind and what do you see as a major flaw in his campaign?
Much. Thank you for having me once more. And it's quite easy, coming into 2022 stroke 2023 general elections, I looked around and I decided to support Mr. Peter Obi because I felt that, okay, this was a man that was coming to change the narrative based on what we were used to. You know, Peter Obi actually gained momentum or actually cashed out from the NSAS movement, which would happen in 2020. So back in 2020, youth came together. We were tired of bad governance across board. So we wanted something different. So we came about this whole thing that, okay, you know what? As the NSAS movement ended the way it ended, then we are going to definitely try as much as possible to make a statement, during the 2023 elections. So coming into 2023 elections, we told ourselves as youths across board that, okay, you know what, this APC, the PDP, this old order, we don't want them anymore. Then there was this third force that came on board, which was with Peter Obi. The former Anambra State governor, someone that said, okay, he wanted to make a difference. It was actually on this slogan that, oh, changing from consumption to production. And it made a whole lot of sense that we said, okay, let's key in and try to move forward as Nigerians. So that was how we got into the support, and we had to support Peter Obi during the last elections. So moving away from the 2023 elections, because I have an ideology. I believe in equity, fairness, and justice. So one of the key reasons that I supported Peter Obi was because he is from the southeast. I thought about it that, okay, the southeast, they also deserve someone to come in and represent them and represent Nigeria. Nigeria as a whole, then southeast has a region. So coming into that, supported him, gave him all our support, and what happened in 2023. Then we came into 2024, which was the next year, and it was time for the Edo State elections. And I'm from Edo State, and I'm very, very passionate about my state, and I would want the best chance to be in governance in my state. So I looked around the board, and I knew for a fact that equity, fairness, and justice should matter also in Edo State, just like it mattered in 2023 when I supported Peter Obi. Then I said, okay, let me support the person that actually meets these particular criteria of equity, fairness, and justice. Because the three major political parties, the APC, the PDP, and the Labour Party, the APC chose their candidate from Edo Central, because it was talked about that, okay, Edo Central, they've lacked representation, leadership representation in governance. So it was there was this gentleman's agreement that, okay, Edo Central, because we have three senatorial districts in Edo State. We have Edo Central, Edo North, and Edo South. The past governor, which was Governor Godwin Obaseki, was from Edo South. And I'm from Edo South as well. So but I had it in mind that we can't support anyone from Edo South, then we have to support someone from Edo Central. And I supported the PDP candidate that was from Edo Central, which is Dr. Aswe Godalo. It still remains my principal party tomorrow. So at the end of the day, let me just quickly round up about this. So at the end of the day, the Peter Obi and the obedient movement that I was in, so they started going against me, started maligning my name, character, and what have you, just because of my choice. They said that they wanted to support someone in the Labour Party, that I have to support someone in the Labour Party because I supported Peter Obi. And the person that they brought up in the Labour Party was against the principle of equity, fairness, and justice, because the person was from Edo South, which was my region, the region of the past governor. So that was it. So I had to
I would
switch my
like to
focus
take you up on that thought. You said that the people, the Labour Party in Edo State, whatever happened at the time, was it in any way connected with Peter Obi directly maligning your person because you refused to support the Labour Party's candidate?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Directly on Peter Obi, no, but the obedient movement represents Peter Obi. Peter Obi represents the obedient movement. One thing about leadership, it requires you being able to control your base. You know, Peter Obi is one person that has always preached about equity, fairness, and justice. And I knew for a fact that it also, if it can matter in Nigeria during the general elections, it should also matter in those states. You know, so you can't tell me that it should matter in A and it shouldn't matter in B. You know, so the obedient movement, I expected that with leadership, the leadership should have told the people, okay, you know what, you guys calm down. Let us deal with this thing internally. For the fact that this is equity, fairness, and justice, everyone has a right of choice. You know, just like I have my right of choice, Peter Obi has his right of choice. Everyone has his own right of choice.
Okay,
But
let me ask you another question. While you were a part of the obedient movement, were you in any way registered under the Labour Party, or it was just about the movement for you?
no, I wasn't registered under Labour Party. I'm not a card-carrying member of Labour Party.
Oh, so there was no anti-party activity from your end. It was
No.
just about your interest in the candidacy of Peter Obi.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about leadership, the leadership style. I like the fact that you mentioned the leadership style and what is expected, which a lot of people might not share your opinion, but you've had a front row seat to Obi's rise in politics. You talked about how everything started with the NSAS and the potentials youth like yourself looked out for, and the reason why you agreed to support someone like Obi. So we cannot take you out of the equation around how the whole obedient movement came about. But what do you think are the strengths and weaknesses of his leadership style? And how do you think this might impact his presidential ambition and campaign?
Okay. All right. Thank you very, very much. I lost it for a bit, but I could hear the end part of the question. All right. So
you want me to come again?
I think the question is about what do I think about his leadership style? Yeah.
Yeah, because having been a part of the movement coming together, and like I said you've had a front row seat to Obi's rise in politics. So what do you think are the strengths and weaknesses of his leadership style, and how might this impact his presidential ambition and campaign?
All right, thank you very much. Coming into politics, a political leader has to be very, very decisive. You have to be very, very decisive. You have to be very, very proactive as well. You know, is Peter Obi's leadership style is not defined. When I say Peter Obi's leadership style is not defined, is that he tends to do things or make decisions just the way to suit him, and not with the general public or with his team. You know, he's not a good team player. He thinks about only himself, how he would want things to be done, and the way it would favor him.
These are allegations. Can you cite instances? Can you cite examples? Are there situations that you have been in, or you think that he had been in and could have done differently?
Okay. Just like right now, the Anambra State elections is coming up in November.
Right.
All right. And personally, I know of a man that has been with him all through the journey, even throughout Peter Obi's campaign. There's a man called Valentine Oibbo. You know, he was in Labour Party with Peter Obi. You know, he has always been with Peter Obi. He contributed so much to the campaign and everything. This man picked an interest. Okay, I want to run for governor of Anambra State under Labour Party. You know, so the Labour Party crisis started. Yeah. Which is Valentine Oibbo, actually wants that particular ticket. There's no way Peter Obi would have not found a way to settle the crisis, especially within the Labour Party in Anambra State and the national. if he was a team player. But do you know what happened? He threw this man under the bus. He threw him under the bus to the situation that the Labour Party had a meeting and they said, okay, in 2027, automatic tickets for Peter Obi, automatic ticket for Governor Alex Oti of Abia State. Then this young man was waiting because he was also there for them to say automatic ticket for you. But nothing like that came up. And this man later met with Peter Obi to say, boss, you said I was going to be the sole candidate of the Labour Party in Anambra State. What happened? Then Peter Obi started changing and trying to change situations just because, one, it wasn't about him at the time. Two, he didn't really care. So at the end of the day, what happened in Labour Party in Anambra State. Valentine Oibbo had to decamp. He had to leave Labour Party because the crisis was so much. He had to leave Labour Party and he went to Peter Obi again to say, boss, okay, now that the Labour Party we're having issues here, it's not even confirmed who the candidates will be and whatnot. And there might be legal actions whereby if I get these tickets, some persons will come up, legal implications. Okay, please, can I know what is happening about this coalition? Peter Obi kept him in the dark until this man could not wait.
Okay.
He went straight up to the APC.
Let's talk about the Valentine in Anambra. So do you think that this style of getting tickets, the cheapest way ever, handing tickets over is not what is known for political parties that actually have strong democratic values and understand the power and strength of a people person in the party contesting for positions? So is it about handing tickets over to who you think should get it because Peter Obi also got it on a platter of gold? And do you also think that Peter Obi's strength was not tested prior to the 2023 election because he was under the ticket of the Labour Party, and maybe that is the reason why he does not understand the struggles of other people and sees defection as the way to go, or maybe he chickens out? Okay, we'd like to get back to my guest, Sir Okoro. Will be getting more feedbacks and reactions from him, but we need to go on a break now and fix some technical issues. We'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned.
To click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Hi, my name is Tosin Mohammed. I'm a gospel artist. Keep watching VOP TV.
Almighty Father, you are the mighty Redeemer. We've come to worship at your feet, oh Lord. This is Ayotunde Adejimo, chilling with you on the Voice of the People TV. Don't touch that remote. You are where God wants you to be. listening to the Voice of the People TV.
The Bible says we should give thanks in all circumstances. And all circumstances include the good times and the bad, the high times and the low, the times when everything look as if they are going well, and those times when Enugbe, the ground is dry like the sand in the desert. Those times when you feel like giving up, you should give thanks still. My name is Jeff Melu, and I'm a gospel poet. And you should keep watching VOP TV. Don't touch that dial.
Yes, sir. Kábíyèsí Olúọ̀run, we were born to give you twale, to give you worship. People of God, you are watching Voice of the People TV, and my name is Flo Rocker. I encourage you to listen to things of the gospel. You know, we live in a very perilous times where there are some things you watch on television, you will lose faith, you will lose God. Keep your eyes on Voice of the People TV and remain blessed. Flo Rocker says so. Kuzoshi.
Hi, my name is Tosin Mohammed. I'm a gospel artist. Keep watching.
Many thanks for staying with the People's Voice, and apologies for that break-in transmission. Let me come back to my guest from our Benin studio, High Chief Okoro. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so moving on. Some people have actually accused you of being opportunistic or bitter for criticizing Obi after supporting him. How do you respond to these claims, and what is the reason for your criticism?
Being an opportunistic. You see, for me, supporting Peter Obi was actually selfless, because if we're talking about who actually helped you, I was the one that was helping Peter Obi, because I didn't get a dime. Nobody can come up today to say, oh, they gave me a dime supporting Peter Obi, or I collected a dime from anyone. If anybody has that, maybe they can come up with that and let's see. You know, so but what I did, I was part of persons that were responsible to even bring out donations. I gave donations, I gave monies, vehicles, printed t-shirts, banners, and I even at some point organized a protest when we were talking about all eyes on the judiciary movement, when the court case was on. So there was never a time that the movement benefited me in any way, financially or otherwise. So I don't know.
So it was just you being selfless and interested in working for a better Nigeria. But while we want to know what changed, even though you've established some of the reasons, you've also expressed concerns about Obi's ability to win the presidencies. In your opinion, or from your experience having been a part of that movement, what do you think are the biggest obstacles he will face, and how can he overcome them?
All right, thank you. See, one of the things is this, one of the problems we have in this country is continuity. All of a sudden, the president, just after 2 years, the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, just after 2 years, we now want him out, you know. And there are some reforms, there are some policies that he's trying to put in place that would definitely, for us to say, okay, maybe in the next 4 years, next 6 years, next 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, these things could materialize. And maybe he's the one that knows whatever he's doing. Okay, so we now say, let us kick this man out and bring in someone that is saying he wants just 4 years, wasting the lives of Nigerians. You know, 4 years ago, a child that was given birth to in 2023. In 2027, that child is 4 years already. Peter Obi comes in and he does 4 years without anything, because there's nothing he can do in 4 years. Then that child, when Peter Obi is living in 2021, that child is already 8 years old. Likewise, myself, 8 years plus my age, I'm into my 40s. Is that how we want to keep running Nigeria? Running Nigeria as if maybe it's a personal business, for us to be able to maybe, okay, just satisfy our ambitions or maybe our urge for president. No. Presidency and governance generally, anywhere in the world, is about continuity. One of the problems we have in Nigeria is that when this administration comes on board, he abandoned whatever the previous administration was doing.
Right.
Then we find ourselves in the same mess, trying to rigmarole through the same process with different styles. So Peter Obi coming to take over from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I think it's a complete waste of time. And trust me, with the coalition right now, the coalition is a disaster waiting.
Yeah, we're going to come to that coalition, but in about 1 minute, you've supported different candidates across different political parties in the past. From everything you've said so far, for you, it's more about the personalities involved, and you've not in any way been a card-carrying member of any political party. Now you're talking about continuity, how important it is for us to allow President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to spend more time so we can see the actualization of some of his policies. And, I mean, the results will be out for everyone to see, despite what the situation in Nigeria is at the time. But I want to ask you, this was not your tone 2 years ago. What led to your switch? I mean, what led you to switch your allegiance to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Because you could have decided not to support Peter Obi anymore, and you could actually choose another candidate. So what about this administration? What about the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu? What about his leadership style? What are you saying that those that are criticizing you are not saying? Tell us about it.
All right. First of all, I'm not the spokesperson of the president, but I'll just say this right now. All right. One thing about me is equity, fairness, and justice. There's this zoning pattern in Nigeria that we know for a fact that this 8 years is for the South, while the next 8 years from 2031 is the presidency is zoning back to the North. Right? The South, we've actually done 2 years, 2027 will make it 4 years, right? And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is saying that, okay, he's trying to do something, it's going to take some time, but we are going to see the effect. That is one. Peter Obi, on the other hand, is saying the same thing. Because if you look at the manifestos of both, three of them, Atiku, Obi, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you look at their manifesto, they were talking about probably the same thing. Each of them talked about the need for them to take out subsidy.
Right.
And virtually all of them said they were going to take out subsidy on the first day or immediately, as they said. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took it off. Yes. Could they have done it differently? I agree, could have done it differently. But they took subsidy off, and we are feeling the after effect of the removal of subsidy. This man is coming to tell us, okay, you know what? Let us be patient a bit. That with what he's trying to do, we can see the tax reform bill that's just signed into law last week. Okay, we can see for the fact, okay, this man is trying to do something. I'm one person that, though I could criticize you today, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to cancel you. That whatever you do would never be good in my eyes. I'm not that kind of a person. I would always give room for honest criticism and honest evaluations of whatever the person is doing. What President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has succeeded in doing, he has succeeded in trying to get Nigerians to start thinking about these things that he's trying to do. A lot of them are futuristic. A lot of them are going to come up maybe in 4 years' time, 5 years' time, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years' time. I just think, and I have this belief that we just have to be patient with this person. Let us see where he's headed to. This is just 2 years.
Maybe you are speaking from the perspective of an everyday Nigerian that has not been within the corridors of power. Maybe Peter Obi, having served as 8-year governor in Anambra State, has a better understanding of how things could have been done differently. Peter Obi have said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not compassionate. And he also talked about the effect of his policies, relating it with the reality of the common man on the streets who doesn't have access to understand the dynamics of our economic, but just wants to be able to afford rice, maybe at 1 naira or maybe gari at 50 kobo. So how do you react to this position?
You see, when we're talking about these things, right? let's not forget that Peter Obi, in his own right, has been governor of Anambra State. Peter Obi did not just come from the moon yesterday that we don't know about him. We know about him. You know, when we're talking about compassion, we're talking about good governance. Peter Obi has his own baggages, you know, so maybe I can start talking about those things there. We
No,
know
you can
about
tell us some of it. You can tell us some about some of it because really, people need
okay,
to
all right,
understand your perspective, and so it doesn't look
okay,
like
all right,
you have
okay,
some
okay, all
personal
right. Thank
sentiment
you very,
against
very
him.
much. Thank you very, very much. All right. When Peter Obi was governor, there was this case that came up whereby some of his aide, you know, they were intercepted in Lagos when they were carrying cash from Anambra State down to Lagos. And it was alleged that these people, these particular people, the Peter Obi's aide, they carried about 250 million naira and they were supposed to take it to his to one of his properties in Lagos in Apapa. You know, and the police intercepted them and whatnot. Peter Obi came and it was settled and the money was returned back into the Anambra State purse. You know,
Okay.
we know about so many things whereby the medical doctors in Anambra State went on a 13-month strike. Why? Because of increments. He gave them 60% and he said, no, it was too small. You can do better as a governor. Let us have it 100%. But it will be refused. And these doctors, they went on a 16-month strike. Do you know how many persons, how many patients actually passed on just because doctors were not available? This compassionate leader, someone that's talking about compassion right now, all of a sudden he now has compassion. He wasn't compassionate enough to say no, because I have Anambra citizens in the hospitals that are suffering and probably some of them dying. I have to check my stance and talk with these people and try to make them understand, or probably just give them what they are asking for. It's
He
not as if
spoke
maybe
about
they really
security
want
too.
it.
He spoke about security while addressing the situation of the president not being compassionate. He talked about
Yeah,
how much influence he had on the security in Anambra State at the time. Spoke about education and all of that. I mean, are these verifiable facts that you think might be a strong campaign material for him?
when we are talking about security in Anambra State, when people are stuff, you know, we know so much about what SARS actually did in Anambra State when Peter Obi was gone, just because of his shoot at sight order that he passed. The SARS officials in Anambra State carried out so many, numerous, thousands, hundreds of extrajudicial killings in Anambra State. You know, we can even remember the case of the Ezu River, whereby in a particular morning, dead bodies numbering up to 30 people were just floating on a community river. That particular river is a river that a whole lot of communities they drink from, they wash there, they cook from it, and all of that. Bodies were there, you know, and at the end of the day, it didn't stop there. A whole lot of things kept happening with SARS officials brutalizing, killing, and doing all sorts of things in Anambra State. This was the same governor. He didn't show empathy. He didn't show compassion there to say, oh, you know what, you can't be doing my people like this. Let us do it this way. Let us do it this way. There was nothing like that. But all of a sudden right now is about empathy, it's about compassion. For me, Peter Obi is playing out a script. Trust me, he's playing out a script because he
What do you
knows
think the script is about and who might be the director? Because for every script, there's a possible
just,
production.
just like just like what Malam Nasir Rufai said. He said when he described Mr. Peter Obi, he said Mr. Peter Obi is just a Nollywood actor and is going to remain a Nollywood actor. That in the words of Malam Nasir
That
Rufai.
is obviously a political statement because we can see the
In
bromance
the
between
words,
El
wait,
Rufai and Obi right now.
in the words of Erofai, which is now his best friend, you know. So that's politics for you. If we are talking about politics and we want to exonerate some persons because they are playing out a script to say, oh, they are now messiahs, and these other people, they are all the same people. That is
Okay,
the fact I'm trying to establish here. You know,
okay.
because politics is politics everywhere. You know, so bringing a man from Anambra that is trying to whitewash his record to say, oh, I am now someone from heaven, and saying, oh, these other leaders, leadership is this, leadership is that. Bro, you were also a governor. What
Yeah,
happened? Were
I
you able,
understand.
excuse me, please, just a minute. Was Peter Obi, because going by what Peter Obi is trying to do now, or say now that in 4 years, he's going to transform Nigeria. The 8 years that he stayed in Anambra State, one should have thought that by now maybe Anambra State should have been maybe a mini Dubai in Nigeria. But there's nothing to write home about.
There might be limitations to the resources. But as someone who knows Obi and his team very well, let's talk about this coalition that is building up and voter outreach. You know Peter Obi and his team very well. Like I established earlier, prior to 2023 election, he got the ticket of the Labour Party on a platter of gold because of his followership and, of course, the potential seen in his candidacy. But this is 2027 that we are looking towards, and the games have changed. There are a lot of decamping, defection across different political parties. People that trusted Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023 are singing something, a different song in 2025. People that trusted Peter Obi in 2023 are singing a different song in 2025. So the same thing for Atiku Abubakar and the likes. What do you think are the most significant challenges the obedient movement will face in terms of aligning with the structure of the coalition?
Right. The thing is this, right? The obedient movement in its own right,
Can you hear me?
I will tell you. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me though? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
If you can hear me.
Oh, please, can you hear me? I can't.
Okay. For your final thought, is the most significant challenge that you think that the obedient movement will face trying to align with this coalition?
It's just a group of aggrieved politicians, you know. Malam Nasir El-Rufai went for screening as a minister. You know, he didn't say the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government was a bad one. He went for screening. When he was denied the opportunity to become a minister, then he became angry. When former Governor Rotimi Amechi, an ex-minister as well under Buhari's administration, left office, just 2 years now, he's saying he's hungry. Someone that has been in government all his life, just 2 years that he's out of office, is now saying he's hungry, reminding Nigerians that they are hungry and all that. But when he was in Buhari's administration, he didn't see the need to say Nigerians were hungry for them to actually do something about it. You know, talking about a whole lot of people in that particular position, they are all there for their selfish interest, because why? They want to continue eating from the national cake. That is the way it is.
Do you see any problem for the obedient movement? We are pressed for time. In about 30 seconds, tell us. What do you think will be their issue?
Okay, all right. See, the obedient movement, quite recently, they've been saying it's either Obi or no one else. And they have people of interest in that particular coalition, and that's where the problem is going to come from. Because Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is not going to sit down to say, because Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is the leader of that particular coalition. Take it or leave it. He was the one that was actually moving around, ensuring that he brought people together into that particular coalition, and also engaged Mr. Peter Obi. Mr. Peter Obi is coming now to say he wants the ticket. He does not want it. He does not want primaries, and that's the major issue that they're going to have, because Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is one person that loves running on primaries.
So if Alhaji Atiku Abubakar decides to give the ticket to Peter Obi, there will be no problem, and if Peter Obi decides to run with him, that will be fine, right?
I'm never going to support it. I'm never going to support that, because for me, I believe it's a southern. The presidency should remain in the south right now.
All right.
You know, so if Peter Obi is going to get the ticket, then that's his own. I wish him good luck, but I'm not going to support him.
All right. Thank you so much, High Chief Lawrence Okoro, for sharing your insights and perspectives with us on People's Voice today. We hope that we'll be able to do this again, talking about the political tension around the political space in Nigeria. And of course, it's not the electionary year yet, but politicking has started here already. And we are here to bring you all of the updates and follow-up conversations on issues like this. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, the debate surrounding Obi's ambition will undoubtedly continue across different platforms, and these conversations are not going to end whether he cleans the ticket of the ADC or he has to stay back in Labour Party. It's a bit confusing to know where Peter Obi stands right now, because in his written interview, he has said that he still remains in the Labour Party. But we are here to bring you details of everything as it unfolds. Until next time, my name is Adefunke Jaisimi, and I strongly believe in this project, Nigeria. God bless Nigeria.